On today's wrestling news, are WWE going to have more blood?
Matt Hardy's been offered a new AEW contract.
The Rock goes mental after Raw went off the air.
And the real reason this AEW star has disappeared.
Are you ready? Are you ready for the news time? My name is Phil Chambers and I'm joined by Gareth Morgan and Salty Sea Dog. Yep, to talk all things wrestling news. But first up, WWE, you might have noticed on Raw, it did something that they've not really done in quite a long time. And Cody Rhodes bled all over the place. Now, basically, you've got The Rock to thank for this, is what this story boils down to. It's coming from the Wrestling Observer newsletter, and Dave Meltzer, obviously, basically saying what The Rock wants, The Rock gets. He apparently has more power than Brock Lesnar did under Vince McMahon's regime of WWE, which is quite a lot of power. But obviously, it makes sense since he's on the board of directors. But it all boils down to, it's not Vince's company anymore. This is new things. The Rock wants to push the boundaries, and this is where we end up, basically. So it's not going to be used very much going forwards, supposedly. This is going to be for like one-off, very specific things. It's definitely not going to end up being like an AEW situation where they use blood all the time. So it's going to be used very rarely, but it's seen as basically The Rock pushing the boundaries, but it's also the more he pushes the boundaries, the more other top stars are likely to be able to push boundaries as well. At least the top stars we're talking about here. So yeah, it's basically The Rock wanted to do swearing, The Rock wanted to do blood, The Rock gets to do swearing, The Rock gets to do blood. Like I say, it's not Vince McMahon's company anymore. This is Triple H, so it is a bit different. Obviously, Vince McMahon once fined Batista $100,000 for blading on air. And Vince McMahon preferred to do it the Brock Lesnar way, which is the hard way by just smashing your elbow into someone's face, which is definitely different, but for some reason that was seen as more favourable than blading, which is what Cody Rhodes did on Raw, obviously. So here it is. It's not going to be used very much going forward, so don't expect this to be a weekly thing. This is a special one-off thing for what is the hottest feud going into WrestleMania. And yeah, it's just The Rock seeing what he can get away with, basically.
Yeah, and I feel like you're saying that, if it is used sparingly, and that's what blood really has been in the past. It's this thing that just takes these really personal, intense rivalries up that extra notch that makes you go, just take my money, I'm in, I want to do this. It's the kind of angle. I sat there and showed it to a friend last night who's not really watched wrestling in a long time, and even they went, wait, was that meant to happen? And I was like, and it's just, you bring in people when you're doing it this sporadically, and you're doing this like a rare occasion. It feels weird to call it special when somebody bleeds onto. It's so special. It's great. So, but it is. It's quite interesting.
It's hell of a segment, let's face it.
Yeah, hell of it. Probably segment of the year for me personally. It's just, yeah, it has all of us. He's got us, his final boss, in the palm of his hands right now, and I'm so intrigued. I'm so excited to what they're going to do over the next like week or so now, because it's gonna hot up. It's all getting hot. And speaking of things hotting up, the contract situation with Matt Hardy and AEW, it's hotting up, ladies and gentlemen, because Matt Hardy has said now that he's got a contract on his table from AEW. Like he's been talking all about his contract status over the last like couple of weeks. He's really made a point of it. And now apparently he's got the contract. It's there, but he's not necessarily rushing into signing this deal because, well, he's weighing out the options, is how he put it. But this deal that has been put in front of him was for a few years, is what he said. So it's interesting just the way he worded this. He was speaking on his The Extreme Life of Matt Hardy podcast, and he was just saying like he's happy to be invited back to AEW. Like he's very lucky to be invited back to AEW, and on top of that, he also said that he'll know really within the next month what he's doing, like what other option he is going to take, whether he is going to stick with AEW, whether he's going to go somewhere else. Just as an additional note, he was obviously apparently at Raw like a couple of weeks ago. I think, mate, a couple of weeks, and he was there and he created a big photo. Everyone's like, oh, what's my Hardy doing a Raw around contract season? Oh, that's interesting. But he did go out of his way then to say on his podcast that it was a completely innocent thing showing up on Raw in the middle of contract season. Completely innocent, Mr. Hardy. So, yeah, we're just going to have to see what happens. Well, the future holds for this man whose contract is expiring this month. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with Mr. Hardy and the Hardy Boys.
Absolutely. You can't blame him for seeing what his options are and seeing what's out there. Obviously, Jeff Hardy's contract was set to kind of end at the same time, but because of injuries and stuff, he's had more time added on. So we'll have to wait another 6 months or whatever it is to find out what's happening with Jeff Hardy as well. But yeah, I mean, you can't blame him for weighing up his options and seeing what's out there and taking the best deal for him. And if that's AEW, that's AEW. That's good stuff. I don't know much more to add to this. You might have noticed it's quite a slow news day.
This was top of my list, man. I'm so excited.
But moving back to The Rock again, and that segment on Raw again. You might have seen a little video doing the rounds. He posted a video of what happened after the Raw cut. And basically, it's the people saying, we're clear, which means they're not live anymore. And then The Rock just keeps on going. And it's absolutely incredible. And instead of me talking about it, I'm going to see if I can get away with just playing it.
Clear, now, you stay down. That. Clear, guys. That. You shut your mouth. Clear my ass. How did that feel? Did that feel good? What, just because the show's over, that doesn't mean that the stops. The Rock doesn't give a Huh? You should cry. You should cry, boy. Look at that blood. Now, look at this blood. Yes. Yes. What? Show is over and then it stops? That. Your script? That. God. This is what happens, boy, when you with the final. Come in here, cameraman. Look at that face. Look at that. Huh? Now, Mama Rose. Mama Rose. This is for you. That's for you. I'll see you at WrestleMania. Kim.
Oh, they've taken the video down.
The video.
Great. Okay, they've taken the video down. Lovely. Okay. Yeah, cool. Went really well, that film.
I love The Rock. This version of The Rock is just the best. It's incredible. I don't know where he's pulled this out from. A lot of the other times we've seen him come back, he's just kind of gone through the motions and done like the old play. But now he's just on another level again. I don't know where this has come from, but I'm loving every goddamn second of it. More of this, The Rock.
Yeah, it's like he's genuinely got something to really sink his teeth into. Like he's not just running on autopilot, going through all the catchphrases, just being really generic and boring, really. He's not, and again, just like referring back to showing my friend this, who's, again, has been outside of that wrestling loop for some time. They turned to me and said, is he playing a different character? They literally said, is he not The Rock anymore? And I said, no, he's The Rock. He's the final boss Rock. He's like the level up. He's the end evolution of The Rock. And they were just like, "What? Okay, yeah, just sign me up. I'm here for this because he's a savage." This is the best acting I've ever seen from The Rock, and he's done how many movies? And this is the best acting I've seen from this man because he's frightening. He's absolutely frightening. I just want Cody to kick his ass, man.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say he's probably not going to turn face at WrestleMania because you can't backtrack from this and all of a sudden say, it was just a ruse. But I don't see that happening. But I'm down
if
for
anyone
this.
Can, Phil.
If anyone can, it's The Rock. But I am down for this version of The Rock for a long ass time because it is so good. But speaking of WrestleMania weekend, at least on Sunday at 12 o'clock, we're doing a live show and you can still get tickets. There are only 25 tickets left, so get them while you can. whatculture.com/tickets to get your tickets to come see our live show. Miller's going to be there, Wilburn's going to be there, we're all going to be there apart from Gareth. Sorry, Gareth. Sorry.
Could have used other words there, Phil. Could have used any other words. He said all of us. We're all going to be
all of us. No, except you. Sorry. But everybody else is going to be there, and it's going to be a hell of a good time. There's going to be drinks, there's going to be food, there's going to be wrestling talk. You can come say hi, get photos with us or whatever. So yeah, whatculture.com/tickets. Only 25 tickets remaining, so get yours while you can.
And you're actually encouraged to bring eggs and tomatoes, is what I'm hearing.
Yes.
As many as you like. Just
yeah.
Take aim. A lot of heads to hit.
Why not? Hey, if you're going to pay to come see us, you can throw whatever the hell you want. I don't care.
And speaking of people disappearing from things, this is a nice little segue. And AEW stars obviously disappeared from television. Well, not obviously. I think it's been quite well done, really, that they managed to sneak this in, because Jay White's not actually been able to appear on like live AEW programming over the last couple of weeks, I think, at this point, because of a visa issue. So he's not been able to show up when they've been having the shows in Canada. He's just not been able to perform live. So how they've got around this is doing a lot of pre-tapes, a lot of pre-recorded stuff. I believe on Rampage that's aired yesterday, last night, they broke into Billy Gunn's house. That was the whole thing. The Bam Bam Gang, they did all that. So they managed to keep his presence on television without him actually being there live in the arenas, which it's a good way of going about things. But that's all according to Fightful Select. They've said that in their new report. But when AEW do go back to America, obviously you'll start popping back up on television again. This is just something that happens from time to time. People's visas aren't able to allow them to go to certain places in the world. And Canada's one of those places right now for the Bullet Club Gold leader. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. He's not actually appeared live, I don't think, on AEW programming since Big Business. So, and that was when the big angle happened with the Acclaimed, and they destroyed Darby Allin's ankle in kayfabe and reality. There's a whole lot of stuff going down there. So he's got a lot of enemies when he comes back to live television, but he's not allowed right now.
Yep, makes sense. You've got to be careful with visa things. The Mike Baileys of the world will tell you have to be careful about visa things. So if he's not allowed to go, you just absolutely cannot risk it, and it makes sense to just do the little bit backstage and behind the scenes things to keep him on TV and relevant. It's just one of those things that happens that you just kind of got to get on with and, hope for the best. So, as soon as they're back in America, back on TV and off to the races again. But that's about it from today's wrestling news. Thank you very much for joining us. Bit of a slow news day. We do apologise.
No, it wasn't. We made it a fun news day.
But you click this video to continue your YouTube journey and follow us over on Twitter. You can follow me at Phil My Chambers, and you can follow Gareth
at The Invisible Man. No, at GMorgan04.
Get your tickets to our live show, whatculture.com/tickets, and have yourselves a bloody good day.
Bye-bye.